Hello everyone, my name is Alejandra Orozco and my presentation is about how health motivation moderates the effect of vividness on consumption expectations of indulgent food. It is by Jung-Sil Choi and Il-Woo Ju from the Journal of Consumer Behavior. In more simpler terms, if you are not focused on eating healthy, then vivid, bright, yummy food will make you want it more. Compared to if you are trying to be healthy, that same yummy, vivid food will make you want it less because it creates conflict with your goals. What did the researchers do? They did a total of 3 studies. For the first study, the researchers showed participants vivid descriptions of food, like rich layers of chocolate cake, dark chocolate cheesecake, and creamy fudge, versus non-vivid, plain descriptions like this is a chocolate cake with filling. They wanted to see if vivid descriptions of food affected how much someone wanted to eat it, depending also on how motivated they were to be healthy. For study number 2, they added healthy ingredients to the same indulgent foods, and they wanted to see if adding these healthy ingredients affected how someone reacted to the vivid descriptions. Did they feel more guilty or less guilty of eating these foods because of the healthy ingredients? And then for the healthy ingredients, they were mostly fruits and nuts. For study number 3, they used images of indulgent foods instead of vivid descriptions. They used Mel's house desserts right here on the right, on the bottom in yellow. And for the vivid description, they used colored pictures. And for the non-vivid, they used black and white. And researchers just wanted to see if the first 2 studies held up with different versions. How did they study this topic? They studied this topic by providing 3 different studies, and although they were all pretty similar, each study added new variables to see if they had consistent findings. And for the first study, they did the vivid versus plain description of indulgent foods. And then in study number 2, they added the healthy ingredients, which were mostly nuts and fruits. And then for the third study, they added pictures instead of descriptive language of that same food, which was the black and white versus colored images. For the participants, who were they? All the participants for all the 3 of the studies were recruited from Cloud Research. The men to women ratio of the participants were different in each study, and the total number of participants were also different in each study. As you can see here, for the first one, there was 211. For the second study, there was 204 participants, and for the third study, there was 393. There was also no other demographic information for the participants in all 3 of the studies. For the results, what did they find? So for the results of the study, they showed that vivid descriptions of indulgent food increases the desire for indulgent food, but only for people with low health motivation. And they also found that people with high health motivation will have less desire of consuming indulgent foods because it creates conflict with their goals. Overall, they found that health motivation does have an effect to indulgent food consumption. Now for their strength versus their weaknesses, I'm going to start off with their strengths. The researchers tested this 3 different ways and all had consistent results. This is a strength because it strengthens the reliability of the study by having consistent findings throughout all of their studies. For the second one, not only did the study use vivid descriptions of food, but they also used images of the food. This is also a strength because it makes the findings more realistic, especially in an online study, which this was. And then finally, the third one, the study asked how vivid food descriptions affected how much a person wanted to eat indulgent foods and whether being motivated affected this outcome as well. This is a strength because this is easily applied to real life and helps marketers and researchers learn how people make food decisions. And now for their weaknesses. The study had no information about the participants' dietary restrictions or special diets. This is a weakness because it is unknown if the participants were not able to eat the food because of these restrictions. For a second weakness, the health motivation in this study was measured using a survey. This is a weakness as well because it involves other factors, like if the participants had self-control over their diet, which these other factors were not mentioned at all. The study was all done online. This is one of the strongest weaknesses because we don't know if the participants apply this to their everyday life, and we don't know if they would act differently with real food in front of them, among other factors as well. And then for the last weakness is the source. This is a weakness because the Journal of Consumer Behavior focuses on marketing and consumer psychology and not on nutrition or public health, which is the big part of this study.